What's going on, guys? You are on the sidelines with the Sideline guys. I'm your host, Derrick Myers, and Chris is not with us for the beginning of this episode, but he'll be with us a little bit later. Right now, we have a guest with us, Shaq Barr. How you doing today, bro?
I'm all right. How are you?
Doing well, man. Can't complain. Can't complain. We've had a lot of stuff going on lately with NBA playoffs. So I definitely want to get your thoughts on everything. But I know today, Ben Simmons just had his back surgery
Yes.
again. I know there's been a whole fiasco over how everything is going to go with him. So what are your thoughts on uh, how that's going and transpiring with that?
Well, I will say this. I think that Ben Simmons definitely pulled off a heist. I definitely think he pulled off a heist. He got paid by the Nets, obviously, and
hmm
now he's also trying to get paid by Philly. And I think him having this surgery would definitely aid him in his grievance against the 76ers. So he may
Ooh.
get paid for a full year without ever having to touch the court, potentially.
Speak on that.
So
How do you see that happening?
well, I think he can attribute him playing, not playing rather, obviously with
Oh,
his mental health concerns.
okay.
It's also a physical thing that would be a contributing factor. So if you have an injury, your money's guaranteed either way in the NBA.
That's true. That's true. I like that because I know everything that happened. I know like it was like a month ago, maybe a little over a month ago. He had a I was gonna say hysterectomy. It was a Jesus
He slipped his disc.
spinal tap or some. No, what
Yep.
was that? What was
He got
epidural? He had the epidural. That's what it was.
mm,
Yeah, he had epidural, and which is something that I didn't know men can get. So I was actually intrigued by that because I actually after I learned about that, I was talking to some people about that whole thing, and there were a couple of guys that I know that ended up having an epidural before, and that's something I've never actually heard of a guy getting. So I was already, intrigued on his status with going into the series against Boston because of the fact that they were saying he was going to ramp up and go into that. But a month removed from epidural, I didn't think that was going to be possible anyway. But that makes a lot of sense that you're saying that he could actually that this can actually help his case against Philly. I never even thought about that. That's good.
yeah,
That's good.
it's there's a lot of moving pieces that go into it, and that's I guess more of the business side of it, the league, where
Yeah.
the Players Association is definitely has empowered players to that point, where you have the autonomy to make decisions on where you play and
hmm
if you don't want to play anywhere else. And then there's contingencies. So, for example, you can say you're hurt and not really be hurt
hmm
because certain things can't be proven. When you say you have a back injury, certain things with your back, you can't prove or disprove. So
Right. Right.
when you say you have when you say you have mental health issues, they can't tell you you're not depressed. They can't tell you you don't suffer from anxiety. So,
Right.
you know, those are things that the Players Association have put in place to not only empower players, but also kind of guarantee contracts for players. Because a lot of players we know in the past have been somewhat blackballed from the league and, weren't able to receive their compensation going forward. So,
Right. Right. That makes a lot of sense. I never thought about that, but that makes sense. So you believe that this is going to be used for his case against Philly, which I think was somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 million, something like that.
2024, I want to say.
Somewhere in the, okay. So yeah, that's a very interesting thing. So they're
I,
saying that,
I mean,
but
I would use it personally.
yeah.
I personally, I'm also a blue collar guy. I would rather just go to work, whether injured or not, and
hmm
just do what I do. But if I was in his situation and I wanted to get my 20 M's, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do whatever I can to get my 20 M's.
Yeah, because I know they're saying that it's going to be about a 3 to 4 month recovery process for him. I didn't realize that this was a herniated disc, um, so I can understand that part of it. But um, 3 to 4 months process, he should be ready for training camp. How do you see this shaking up for Brooklyn for next season? Is he? Do you think he's coming back to play beginning of the season, or is still going to be another process? Because right now it's been close to a year since he's even touched the court.
I personally don't see him playing right away. I think it's still a process.
Yeah.
Um, I also think he needs a low profile team. I don't think he can be in a major market,
Yeah,
at least at this point right now, for his mental concerns. Like I said, in prior talks about Ben Simmons, it's not my job whether to say he suffers from or not suffers from anything mentally.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I have no certification. I've never sat down and talked to the dude,
yeah,
so that's not for me to say.
yeah, yeah.
Purely as a basketball person, as a competitive person,
Mhm.
I say, me personally, I would play. There's you know, very few things that have ever hindered me from being able to play, but I just don't see it happening for him in a big market team. I would say a team like Utah, you know, but it's like
Ooh,
because of the advent of social media now, every market is a big market. You
yes,
know, people
yes.
think the fans in Philly and New York are bad or LA are bad, but we all know how bad Utah fans can be, for example,
Oh,
or
yeah,
even Toronto fans. You know, you have
yeah.
millions of people, not millions, but you have thousands of people in arenas every night.
Right, right,
You know, they're going to boo you, they're going to cheer you, all these things. So
right,
you have to be prepared for that regardless. And then through social media, you can always be contacted by anybody.
right. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, going into this year, he's sitting on 35 mil. Next season will be 37. The year after that is 40. He'll be an unrestricted free agent in 2025. So, do you think that that's something that's very possible where we could see a Rudy Gobert trade to Brooklyn? Because
I
Utah
would
makes
say
sense.
it Utah does make a lot of sense. And it's, if you pay attention to reports and if you believe what's being reported,
Mm,
there's obviously a disconnect between Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell.
right.
And I'll be honest with you, D Wade is over in Utah now. He's not letting Donovan Mitchell go. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Not at all. And
he's not letting him
Danny Ainge is over there too. So
go. They're not letting him go.
yeah. Good luck
So
with that.
and especially, no offense, not for Ben Simmons.
Not for
I
Ben
would let Rudy
Simmons.
I would let Rudy Gobert go for Ben Simmons before I let Donovan Mitchell go for Ben Simmons.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
Which
that's just a fact.
and I think they're going to end up getting Joe Ingles back because I know he'll be I think he's unrestricted free agent going into this next season. So I
Mhm.
think he wanted to still be there anyway. So I'm pretty sure he'll end up going back to Utah. You have that shooter. Um, just figure out maybe like a couple other shooters, a big that you're going to be able to go out and get something like that. Um, I mean, Utah to me is not really much of a contender, but in terms of being able to be a spot that makes sense for Ben Simmons himself, that would make a lot of sense. Either there or Oklahoma.
Yeah,
The
I
Thunder
think
would make a
like
lot of sense too.
those two markets, just due to proximity, they have passionate fans, but being that they're lower market, players don't generally rush to sign there. It kind of gives you a chance to have a hard reset in a sense, and I think that's what Ben needs. I think he needs a hard reset
Mm,
because I wholeheartedly believe if he were to have the mindset of a player like Giannis, for example, who, despite being told he couldn't shoot, still shoots.
hmm
I think Ben Simmons adopting that mindset and just taking a couple of jump shots a game, I think he'd be able to dominate the league personally with his package. He's a five-tool player,
Yeah.
four tools. The only tool he's missing is shooting.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing about him though is that this has been a pattern since high school of
Yes,
just they've been telling him to shoot. I don't think what he's somewhere around like 23, something like that. 23,
24,
24.
maybe
So
25 at the most.
at the most, so I don't see how he would even at this point how that would be a change for him to go and automatically start shooting. I didn't see that for when they were talking about that in Philly because it you saw that for 2 years already where they were saying shoot shoot shoot. It never happened. I think he took like three to five threes last season.
And he made two,
I made
which was
two.
like they cheered for him when
Yes,
he did it.
yes,
Um,
yes.
I think it's a mental thing, man.
It is.
It's the people he has around him that I
Mm-hmm.
think really make it a difficult transition for him.
Yeah,
When you're interviewed in college and high school, and you're asked, "Well, hey Ben, you had some open jump shots, you didn't take them. You just kind of came into the paint, crashed into the paint."
yeah,
And he was like, "Well, I've always been bigger than everybody else. I never needed to shoot."
yeah.
Well, when I heard that interview, the minute I heard that interview, actually, I was like, he's going to be a bust at some point, because
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
well, when you get to the next level, everybody's as big as you.
yeah, yeah,
Everybody's as fast as you.
yeah.
Everybody's as strong as you. And you're going to come across people who are bigger, faster, and stronger.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have something about your game that sets you apart to make you
Right,
successful.
right, right.
That's
No, I agree
why,
with that.
yeah, that's why point guards are seen as some of the best players to ever lace up, because they have to add a nuance to their game, because they're smaller players on the court. They
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to shoot over everybody while
Yeah.
also being able to get to the basket and finish over bigger people.
Shoot. And
Look
the
at
smaller
Chris
you
Paul's
are,
performance last night.
yeah,
Chris Paul is my favorite point guard.
yeah.
He's my favorite player in the league right now, actually.
Okay.
But just look at the performance he had. Luka Doncic on him. Luka Doncic is 6'9",
Yeah,
6'7", 6'9". Chris Paul is listed as 6'2", and that's being generous. Chris Paul is about 5'10", 6 feet.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
Chris Paul made Luka look silly.
He did.
He made him look bad last night.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's why point guards are always seen as ultimate equalizers in basketball. And I think Ben Simmons being listed as a point guard at 6'10", yes, you have everything else. But if you add that extra dimension where you can even if it's as far as 15 to 20 feet,
yeah.
you turn yourself into an entirely different player. You change the way defenses have to approach you. And that all goes into mental, like we said, and who's
Mm-hmm.
around you and
Mm-hmm.
coaching.
Oh
I
yeah.
think my favorite team, I root for the Knicks actively because I'm from New York, but
Okay.
my favorite team growing up was Spurs. I was a Tim Duncan fan
Mm-hmm.
with a coach like Greg Popovich, who's a disciplinarian,
Mm-hmm.
but he's had his job for however long he's had, because
Yeah.
players develop under him. They get
Right.
better under him.
Right. Yeah. No,
So
that makes a lot of sense. He definitely needs to go to a place that's a cultural fit for him. Somewhere that will actually have someone that is going to hold him accountable, because he definitely didn't get that in Philly. Um,
no,
I
they
think
let him do whatever he wanted.
whatever he wanted. But I think one thing that could possibly help him, because I definitely believe it is a mental thing. I know, speaking from my experience, I know there's been times where I've had physical symptoms based off of mental aspects that I've had going on. So I understand. I believe that it is a mental issue for him. But
Mhm.
what if you were to even just change his position to like small forward?
That would go 1,000 miles, dude. I think
Yeah,
it should be a small forward, power forward,
yeah.
because I think us seeing him listed as a point guard makes it stand out more. It makes us
Mm-hmm.
view him like, dude, you have to shoot because
Yeah,
you're a point guard.
yeah, yeah,
Whereas somebody like LeBron, we see him listed as small forward, power forward. We don't expect him to shoot, but we know he's gonna shoot.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah. Because his biggest part of his game is just driving in and getting to the basket, working in the post, and I think that would make a lot more sense for him. But I think I don't even know if even changing the position would do everything though, because again, if he's not mentally, uh, uh um, if the mental aspect is not worked on, let's put it like that. If that part isn't actually worked on, moving positions ain't going to do anything, because we're going to end up seeing a lot of what we saw in Philly on any other team. You know what I'm saying? I think that's going to be one of his biggest issues, is being able to go to a place that would make sense. Now, if Popovich is not coaching, because I think San Antonio would make a ton of sense as well. But if Pop isn't coaching anymore, it would almost make sense for him to go to a team that is coached by that's coached by a coach that is from his branch. What do you think
yes.
about something like that?
I think any coach who's developmentally disciplinary would kind of assist him in that. He definitely needs a new team around him.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I'm I apologize. I actually got to cut this
Good.
short. There's,
No, you're
there's a
good. You're good.
situation I got to deal with,
I see you,
but
bro.
I
I see you.
appreciate you.
Yes,
I
sir. Yes,
appreciate
sir.
you having me on.
No doubt, man. We'll have you back on for sure.
Most definitely.
All right. You take it easy, man. And we'll be
You
right
too.
back. We're going to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hi, hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. My name is Jessica Lemon, and I am the host of Sour, Sweet, and Spooky, a paranormal podcast with a little true crime squeezed in. Because where there's paranormal activity, there's gotta be some kind of true crime involved, right? I talk about ghosts, aliens, murder, cryptids, urban legends, conspiracy theories, and more. Stories from all over the world for you to enjoy every week. So check me out on social media at Sour Sweet Spooky and pretty much every platform that podcasts are found. And be ready for a brand new story. Oh, and remember, stay sour, stay sweet, stay spooky.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much to Shaq. I'm sorry I missed you. Ran a little late here, but I'm excited to be back with you all. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the sideline. What am I saying here? You are on the sidelines with the sideline, guys. I'm Chris.
I'm Derrick. What's good, bro?
Dude, I can't believe. Listen to this. I can't believe we're in that 100 or so day range until the NFL season begins once again. I cannot believe it.
It feels like it's been forever since the season ended. It's only been like 3 months.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so weird. I swear, because I was thinking about that. I was like, man, hold up. We are going into the whole training camp time period and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to this, man. This is going to be a good year.
Dude, you know it's been a long off season when people bring up the Amari Cooper trade, and I'm like, oh shit, that's right,
bro.
He's on the Browns. Yeah.
I forgot all about that, man. It's gonna be one hell of a season. How are you looking forward to it? No, we didn't get to speak after the draft. We had Matt come in and we did a special episode for the draft. But what are your thoughts on how the Ravens did? And of course, you lost Marquise Brown, which I was so confused by. But speak on it, bro. Speak on
everything happens for a reason. I just want to say you and Matt did a bang up job as well. So that was awesome.
Yes,
great shit there. Man, where do I even start? Go back on the episode right before the draft. I called it. I said exactly what we were gonna do. I said maybe let's go offense. I knew that was wishful thinking. I knew exactly what we were gonna do, and we're looking scary, man. We're looking scary. Like I down like when. Listen, the Ravens are known for doing this every single year. If you don't think this is a process-oriented team, you're just not paying attention. Every year we're trying to find some gems, especially on the defensive side, and sort of keeping that turnover to a minimum. And it's been really cool just to see. There's a lot of strengths in this draft that I thought we came away like bandits. Just those first 3 picks alone, really filled areas that wasn't even necessarily like big holes. But when you consider the value we were able to get with those picks in those spots, man, our defense is going to be scary. When you think of Marcus Peters, Humphreys, and now Hamilton, I'm just super pumped, man. And then getting the center as well, like just all the cornerstones. Of course, I know Lamar was a little upset when he found out about Hollywood Brown. From what I heard, he knew. So I don't know. I think he was just stirring the pot a little bit there.
Okay.
Because there was actually a picture of him already in Arizona from a couple days before. So
yeah. So you're saying Lamar knew that, or?
Yes, I think Lamar knew, and he just wanted to stir the pot a little bit. I feel like that the only reason I'm not discouraged or upset by it is because I really like Bateman. I think he can be a true number 1 receiver. He had injury issues last year, so a lot of people just completely forgot about him, like the rest of the Ravens. Let me just add that right there. So a lot of people are just discounting him. So I'm not. I'm excited about how his season is going to be. Of course, we got Mark Andrews. He's not a wide receiver, but he's a huge part of the passing game. And then don't forget about Sammy Watkins, baby. That's a name. That is
right. Y'all did get him.
Yeah, that's a name. And I don't think we're done. I think we made that move for a reason. There's still a lot of time left with free agency. Some big names still out there. I won't be surprised if we end up grabbing one of those too. That's the only thing that really makes sense to me. There's no reason to unload wide receivers unless we're trying to add someone back, in my opinion.
Landry.
Honestly, I won't be mad at it. Yeah, it's more realistic. I don't think we got the space to get somebody like Odell. But hey, who knows? Maybe a trade. give away one of those assets we just got or something. I don't know. I wouldn't mind either or, but I would say get a veteran, get someone that could provide you a little bit depth in that wide receiver position, and we're in business. I'm not even too upset about the offense right now. I think when you remember we're getting Dobbins back, the run game's going to be what it always was.
You missed all your running backs.
Yep.
Everybody
and they're
was
all
hurt.
good. They're all good now. So
So
I got a lot to look forward to.
I think I keep saying this. I think y'all, it makes sense that Antonio Brown comes there. It does make sense that he comes over there. So I think you could end up getting him for cheaper than even like Landry.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's a real good shout.
Yeah.
I won't be mad at that at all. And I've been saying that this whole time. Obviously, it always gives you a little side eye. But I definitely won't be mad. And hey, I'm excited about Javi too. I think that guy's a monster. Like, I think he's a first round talent. So the fact that we got him in that spot, I'm excited, man. Our defense is gonna be, it's always been at that level, but I think it's important with the way the league really shifted this offseason. Not a lot of people were doubling down on defense, and we definitely did. But man, I'm not the only one that's ready to be a homer right now. We got a lot to talk about your Eagles too, man. How are you feeling after that draft night?
When I tell you, I was, you remember, I forgot, was it Anchorman? I think it was Anchorman. Will Ferrell was like talking about he's a bass case, a case of emotions or something like that. Like he's just like giddy and everything. I was literally, I told you before, I really didn't even care about the draft. I didn't care about the picks. Like I figured we were gonna do something defensively, maybe offensively. With we had three first round picks, then traded one to New Orleans. So we were going into the draft with 2 picks, 15 and 18, and I didn't think we were going to use both. I truly did not believe we were going to use both because it didn't make any sense for us to draft anybody at wide receiver. We need to get a veteran wide receiver, and it just didn't make any sense to do it. The very first move, they traded up to 13. I was like, what is going on here? We'll get Jameson Williams.
Yeah, that made sense.
And then the Lions jumped and took him. I was like, what the hell else are we gonna do? Because none of this made sense. I was nervous. I can't lie. I wanted that wide receiver because it made sense to put him opposite side of Devante Smith.
For sure.
But then they go out and get Jordan Davis, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I like that. You can find someone. Fletcher Cox is likely out the door next season, after next season. So you go get someone that can train under him for a year, and that defensive line is just stupid. That I'm pretty sure there's not going to be one offense that's looking forward to playing against that defense. But I figured, okay, after that move, we'll likely go and get a corner. And I switched from watching ESPN broadcast to Bleacher Report because Bleacher Report was just updating like crazy. I'm looking at my phone, seeing the pick. I'm looking at ESPN. 5 minutes later, now we get the pick. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go to Bleacher Report.
Not worth.
I just went to the website and I just sat here and I watched. And Jason Kelsey was on the broadcast with Adam Lefko, who is an Eagles fan. And he, like, Adam just was like, oh my God. Like, he was like, at first he was like, they're not showing me the pick. They're not showing us the pick. What we have? And then he's like, oh, Jason, do you see this? And then I'm looking, I'm like, I had to read it twice. I said, there's no way in hell. No way.
This is real.
Oh my, bro, I still can't believe it. I didn't even go to sleep that night. I think it took, I couldn't go to sleep till like 3 or 4 in the morning because I was just that excited. But bro, I almost lost my voice shouting when I saw that we got AJ Brown. That was the move I wanted. I said either DK Metcalf or AJ Brown. Trade one of those picks, go get one of those guys, even Tyler Lockett. Just go get someone that's going to be a threat. Opposite side of Devante Smith. Made complete sense. Howie, I'm going to tell you this right now. He completely redeemed himself with this move. because we missed out on Justin Jefferson, we missed out on DK Metcalf. You know what I'm saying? Like
Rager alone.
I'm telling you right now, I actually love Rager. Okay, I have love for the guy. The player, however, needs to move. He needs to go. He needs to go. Like for his mental health, he needs to go because I don't want to see him be put through that. But AJ Brown makes complete sense,
dude.
And you remember how I told you I think they need to trade Miles Sanders if he's not going to be able to get open, if he's not going to be able to change or add any more to his game. I think adding AJ Brown now opens up a little more for him.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? I think this is gonna be it, man.
I like the dynamic too, because you got a real mix of, obviously both of the guys are super fucking fast, but it's a real sort of power speed dynamic. Both of those guys could slide over to the slot. Like you could just do a lot of things with that offense. So yeah, I could only imagine you're fucking pumped. And real quick, I just gotta mention this because I'm pumped about this pick, and it ain't got nothing to do with me. Nakobe Dean is a monster, bro. For where I got him to, I'm telling, like you said, that defense is gonna be problematic, and the fact that y'all bolstered the offense at the same time, looking great next season. That's all I gotta say for both of us. It's gonna be a hell of a season. Yeah,
wouldn't that be one hell of a thing to see?
Both of us in the playoffs. That'd be great. Yeah, it can happen.
Wouldn't it be crazy if somehow, some way, both teams made it to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think if that does happen, we need to do like a live show of the entire Super Bowl.
Bro, I'm saying I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to talk. Because the Super Bowl 52, I was literally on my couch in one position the entire game.
Frozen in fear. Yeah.
I'm just like, there's no way.
That was me. The blackout game.
Yeah.
That was me. Exactly. I literally had a blanket, bro. I was under a blanket. Like,
yeah. It's weird, man. It's a weird feeling. You want to feel that though. Like you love seeing your team in the championship game. So hey man, if that happened, that'd be one hell of that'd be something.
If that happens, we deserve the credit. All I gotta say real quick, hilarious. I remember you talking about that AJ Brown trade, and I'm like, hell, that ain't gonna happen. There's no way that's gonna happen. And I think it's funny that you mentioned this earlier too, because I think it's only right we touch on the Titans and what the fuck they're doing, because I have no idea. And obviously they got Malik Willis, which is a great move considering Tannehill's in his last year. Something that you mentioned with Fletcher Cox is just sort of that next man up mentality, you know, put him right underneath that guy and let him learn, let him grow. Something that Tannehill was saying sort of in the media that got definitely publicized. I'm interested to hear what you feel about this. He was like, you know, it's not my job to mentor Malik Willis. And as a competitor, I understand that. Like I've heard that from Joe Flacco as well when he went over to the Broncos. But hey, a couple games in, that guy's starting over you anyway. What were your thoughts on those comments and sort of that mentality in the league?
Man, I think to me, I think it's weird because I'm a competitor, right? I get it. You want to be the guy, right? I completely understand that. But let's say he does get benched. Let's say Malik actually gives the Titans that boost to be able to propel them to the playoffs or even Super Bowl. Let's just say that, right? Why would you not want to help him if he's on your team? Like, I get it's a competition because you play the same position, but God forbid you actually get hurt, right? Now, what is Malik supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you now going to try to mentor him after you get hurt? God forbid it's a career-ending injury, right? You're still on the team. How about this? If he's in a position where he can actually play that well and put you back at the top of the conference this year, which I doubt is going to happen, but let's just say for argument's sake, it does happen. They're the number one seed, right? Would you not want someone that can actually push as hard as possible to actually get you guys to the Super Bowl? If that's the case, if that's something you get a ring out of that, what is the problem? What is the problem? How is it going to hurt you? If you are so good, you're not going to, it's not going to be a problem if someone is behind you. You know what I'm saying?
For
It's like
sure.
what happened with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. He was threatened by Nick Foles from the Super Bowl situation, right? You're the
Mhm.
MVP. Like, if he didn't get hurt, he would have been an MVP, right?
Yep.
You you can't cheer your backup on.
Yeah. It's a good point. I mean, you're
What
on the
is
same
that?
fucking team, bro. Like you said, you're on the same goddamn team.
And that backup got you a ring.
Yeah.
So, like, if that were the same situation that the Titans were in, I would think he would want to do as much as possible to help his teammate out. But not only help his teammate out, help someone that would possibly take over the team. I would think
Exactly.
that would be something, but I don't know. I think that's incredibly selfish. I know Kurt Warner tweeted out and said, he came against that whole thing and said, if there's anybody that's a rookie, that needs a mentor, hit me in my DMs. Let's talk. Well, like, I'm
Hmm.
here for you. And I thought that was really cool of him because, you know, not everybody um that's coming in is going to get the same type of uh mentorship or be able to learn from someone that is great. Tannehill is a good player. He's a good player, but he's not like a great. He's not one of the
For sure.
greats. You know
For
what I'm
sure.
saying? Is Aaron Rodgers got to be the backup behind Brett Favre? Look how that turned out.
For sure. And I agree with a lot of points you said. I feel like it's hard in his situation because in that interview he also mentioned a lot of different things, just saying, I already reached out to him, I talked to him, so it's not like it's like fuck that guy at the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
So that gets a little bit lost, but I do agree. It's almost like you know yeah, you definitely want to be the one that's starting, you want to be the one that's playing and getting the shine. But at the end of the day, like you said, something happens to you, you want your team to lose now. You don't want him to do well just because he plays the same position as you. Yeah, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
make sense. And it's true too, because you can't really say shit like that and
No,
then really cultivate a leadership mentality now, because now you want to
exactly.
try to, now you want people to follow you, when you're like, well, it's not my job to sort of lead the way in
Mm-hmm.
that way.
Yeah.
But I also do understand what he was saying, in a sense, like,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, it isn't his job to take care of those things. If anything, that's definitely more so on the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like saying that statement, like, you could have kept that shit to yourself and
Exactly.
still kept that same energy, and it wouldn't
Yeah.
have been an issue.
Yeah.
And considering just the way everything is sort of crumbling with that scenario, obviously trading away AJ Brown, questionable wide receiver pick. I think there were other people on the board that was still, in my opinion, better. Shout out to Sky. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just it's a weird situation, and you don't really see stuff like that happen with number one seeds. So
Yeah, and I think was what I find. Wait, hold up, didn't Ben Roethlisberger do the same thing? Like, didn't he come out and say that it's not his job to mentor like Mason Rudolph or someone like that?
yep.
I don't see. I don't get that. I don't get that. But he was already one of those guys that seemed like he was already on
checking
his
out,
way out. He was already on
checking
his way
out a
out for
little.
sure. Yeah, but he seemed like he just didn't care anymore, and that didn't make any sense. Again, if you're gonna put someone, if you're gonna be, because Tannehill, I'm assuming it will likely retire as a Titan.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You think he's gonna
I don't think
retire
so.
as?
A backup quarterback somewhere
No,
else.
no, no, no. I know. I think that's gonna happen, but I'm saying, like, in terms of like where we best know him to, like,
Oh, for sure.
I think he'll go back if he leaves to Tennessee. I think he'll go back and retire as a Titan.
I
Um,
get that. I get
at
that.
least from what we're seeing right now. Now it's very possible if this is his last year, and he goes somewhere like, let's say for example, like the Panthers or someone like Falcons or somewhere. Um, then we never know. But where he is right now, it would make sense that when it's time for him to retire, that he retires as a Titan.
Yeah.
And I would think you want to be a bright spot in that community, with the fan base and the organization. Saying something like this, even though he did reach out, that soundbite is what everybody's paying attention to. no one else is going to, like, people aren't going to pay attention to every other thing that he said. It's the sound bite that people are attached to. And let's say Malik only saw that. Now he's going to come into training camp with like on guard. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not a good way to get off on, on the right foot. It's tacky. I get it.
Especially as a leader. For sure.
Especially as a leader. I get the mindset in terms of like, yeah, and technically speaking, is not your job. Your job is to be a quarterback, but it is your job. Yep. It is your job. You're supposed to mentor the next generation because it's a sport we all love.
Yep. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to do. So whatever.
It's an interesting scenario. I think he was salty with everything that went on too. He apparently he had no clue that they were making that AJ Brown move either.
Apparently Vrabel didn't either. Did you see his reaction?
No, I didn't.
He looked like he wanted to punch the GM, man. Like he was He was hot. He got up and was pacing back and forth, just like, like that's not the right move. I was even sitting. I'm like, there's no way. This
is real. I know.
There's no way. We gave him a first and a third.
It's crazy,
bro. I will take that.
You saw the haul for Tyreek, like, bro, versus
that's
this.
What I'm saying. Like, and he gets 52 million guaranteed. Are you telling me the Titans couldn't do 52 million guaranteed?
For real?
Like, are we seriously saying that? So there has to be something else that was going on there. I know AJ's tweeted out and said, Tennessee, I want you to know this is not on me. So apparently this was an organizational thing. I don't know.
How do you feel about him saying that though? Like, does that?
I'm perfectly fine with it. Hey,
I'm fine with that. Hey. I feel like that's a little like, I don't know, the heart grows fond.
You got to cover yourself, man, because he still has roots down there, right? Like he's in Philly, and the goal is to win a Super Bowl in Philly, right? We got him locked in for 4 years. He ain't going nowhere. So you want to win a championship there. Let's say we win a championship, right? You still, even if we don't, you still want to have good connections with that community because that's where he got drafted. You want to be able to go back. Tennessee is a nice place, so you never know. So I probably would do the same thing. Like, yo, this wasn't me, but good luck.
Yeah, because y'all gonna need it.
Y'all gonna.
They still got Derrick Henry, so
you got Robert Woods. You got Robert Woods too. So for what that's worth, I don't know.
Definitely a downgrade for sure.
Well, see, that's the thing. It was an upgrade when you had AJ Brown,
for sure,
because that's your second receiver. You move on from Julio Jones. It's like that made sense. That's why I wasn't really looking at AJ Brown, but I'm like,
we'll take it.
Hey, if we can get AJ Brown, that'd be beautiful. Because I know Jalen Hurts was trying to get him. I didn't know until like 2 days ago. Jalen was actually with AJ when he got drafted. He was actually at AJ's house, and they were hugged up and cheering, happy and everything like that. He's just like hyping him up and everything. So it was just good to see that. So now I didn't realize this was only a couple of years ago. I didn't realize
they had a connection.
No, but even from that, I don't know why I thought AJ Brown's been in the league a lot longer than he's been.
That's a good point. Yep.
I thought it feels like he's been in the league for a long time. So yeah, good luck to Tennessee. I don't know why the hell y'all did that, but thank you.
Hell yeah, we'll take it and shit.
Yeah,
I love that video of Hurts to AJ Brown. They don't even gotta say nothing. They're just like hilarious, bro. Hilarious.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy, man.
Both of us, man. We got some grins you can't wipe off. Can't wait. So real quick before we move on, I wanted to ask you this. So we didn't get a chance to do a full draft sort of scenario. Why don't we just do a quick sort of who we thought won out? Like obviously we talking about our teams.
Yes.
Please let's start there. I think it's fair we give a couple teams each, right?
Oh yeah.
Why don't I start this off, man?
Go ahead. Right.
So their moves definitely were sneaky, and let's do 3 each. How about that? Let's do 3 each.
Yes,
and all positive, and then we could talk negatives. So all the other moves, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too familiar with, but I think this was a very great move considering personnel. You're not going to expect this at all. Where you're currently seated, Atlanta. Drake
Oh,
London. Drake London
yes.
is a hell of a player. Let me get this out. Very reminiscent in my mind
Mhm.
to Mike Evans and taller.
Mm. Okay.
So
Okay.
and this is why I really like this too. So now you got Drake London. On the opposite side, you got Kyle Pitts,
Mm.
who is 6'6".
Mm.
So two of the bigger sort of receiving corps in that area.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you got Cordell Patterson still. And don't forget
That's
this,
right.
obviously, Mariota.
Yeah.
We'll see how far he's able to take that train. But most importantly, this was a team that you and I was shitting on all year.
All year.
Shitting on all year whenever we got a chance. They ended with 8 wins.
Yeah.
They're an
Yeah.
8-win team. Like
Yeah.
that is not far removed from the playoffs. So
That's
I don't think
average.
this is a playoff move
Yeah.
in a league that's hard to be average. Let me
Yes.
make that clear. Either
Yes.
you're shit usually or you're good. That's usually how it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and the fact, like, you wouldn't think of the Hawks being Hawks, the Falcons being on that same level
Yeah.
as sort of where the Dolphins were last year, but they
Mhm.
were like
Mhm.
record wise right there.
Mhm.
So considering the moves, I think obviously you lose Russell Gage as well as Ridley, but he's coming back. We just gotta give him some time, all right? But
Yeah.
I just think there's a really good thing going on that offensive side of the ball, and it puts Mariota in a good position to succeed, and he needs it. So
For
fun,
sure.
fun pick if you ask me.
For sure. For sure. I'm going to go a sneaky one as well. Let's keep it in a division. I think the Saints did a really good job. Chris Olave, man. I think with what they're getting back with Michael Thomas, and my God, this has been happening to me for the last 3 weeks, and I'm really annoyed. The running back.
I'm rubbing off on you.
You are, you are.
Alvin Kamara.
All right, thank you. So you have Thomas coming back, you have Kamara coming back, and you have Jameis Winston coming back. I think that this is going to be very interesting to see what ends up happening
For sure.
with that team. I think it's going to be. They're going to be a much better team than they were last year, right off bat. Just because you're getting Michael Thomas and Kamara back, that's literally the upgrade right there. But I think addition by subtraction is also getting Taysom Hill out of the quarterback position.
Yep.
So that's already come out. He's not going to be a quarterback. He's going to be the tight end. So I think as long as Winston can stay healthy, I really do believe that they're going to do some. They have the opportunity to make a splash. I think they have a great opportunity. But I like the Chris Olave move.
That's a really good shout. Now, this next one, I'm telling you, you're not gonna expect this of me at all, because a lot of people were giving this team heat. But I'm not even gonna talk about the reason why they're getting heat until the very end.
Okay.
The Jacksonville Jaguars had a sneaky fucking draft, if
They
you
did.
ask me.
They did.
So I'm not even gonna talk about that first pick. Let's talk about the other picks.
Yeah.
Dude, Devin Lloyd is a problem.
Yeah.
Like, no matter where he would have ended up, that's a fucking play right there.
Yes.
And I like they got a sneaky defense as far as size and speed.
Mhm.
So that's an exciting move. They get a center.
Mhm.
I think his name is Luke something. Hey, you need it when you have a young quarterback. We saw some protection issues. It's just the right move. And then a couple picks later, you get a nice inside linebacker as well.
Mhm.
And then later on, you get some backup running back depth, Snoop. But I'm excited. I really am excited. They made a lot of big moves in free agency, and then I didn't even mention their number one pick. Now, obviously, it was a huge surprise. Nobody sort of expected them to go the way they did. I think Travon Walker can turn out to be a hell of a player. It's just a little scary, obviously, when there's people on the board still that you could consider sort of a more NFL ready commodity.
Mhm.
But hey, in my opinion, with the moves they made, they were in a position to make a swing like that. Because I mean, why not?
Yeah.
But my issue with it is, like, I wonder if there was some sort of chatter on Aiden Hutchinson's end where he sort of wanted to be in Detroit.
It made sense.
And maybe that's a reason why they ended up taking that swing. I don't know. Could potentially be. Put my tinfoil hat on. Who knows what was the exact reason? Because and all the mocks I was seeing, there were some people that were getting shot up to 1, but it wasn't Trayvon Walker. It was other people.
Yeah.
Shout out to my guy Brandon at my job. He actually made almost $900 betting on Trayvon Walker to go number 1, and it hit. So awesome shout there from Brandon. But
yes, sir.
Yeah, man. I like the moves that they made. I think as a total package, they are the most improved team this offseason. I can confidently say that. So why not?
Yeah, and that's from coaching up. I think Jacksonville is going to be a very interesting team to watch next year. So I'm happy. I agree with you on that one though. I think my next one is actually going to be, because I had 2 others, but I think one of them you might actually pick as your third one. So I'm gonna save both just in case. I'm going to actually go with Pittsburgh. I think that Kenny Pickett move made a lot of sense.
I had to. It's only right.
I agree with you, Matt. I agree with you. But I think it made a lot of sense for them because, unfortunately, Dwayne Haskins was killed. And, it looked as if it could possibly be his opportunity to go and make that splash and make a case to be the number 1 guy there. But it made sense they were going to try and draft the QB anyway. I think the board fell perfectly for them to be able to get one. So Kenny Pickett made a ton of sense. He's already in the area, why not? So I think that made sense for him too. So
for sure. And I think out of any of the QBs in this class, he's the one that's most ready to go. Why not?
Yeah.
And they're talking about it's going to be an open competition over there. I don't know about that. I think you draft someone in the first round, baby. Nah. You know what you're going for. What you're going for. Yeah. Hey, don't put some respect on young Mitch. Hey, man. Right? Young Mitch.
Look, look. for what Myles Garrett said that he heard from him. Nah.
Tell me, I have no clue what you're talking about right now.
Don't you remember when Garrett hit him with the helmet? Was that Mason Rudolph he hit with the helmet?
I have no clue what you're talking about. What did he say? What did he hear?
I forgot what the actual words were, and I'm not going to put words in his mouth just to be fair to Mason Rudolph. But
I got a feeling it's only something that you will feel comfortable saying.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of what he said. I can't see what the actual comment was, but Myles Garrett hit him with the helmet, with his own helmet. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it had something to do with him.
We'll leave it at that.
I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, but I think that's what it was. So apparently, I didn't really think Mason Rudolph made sense to be QB like number 1, backup, something like that. Cool. Unless you're going to try and trade for Baker Mayfield, I don't know what the actual move would be for Pittsburgh, unless they want to go get Kaepernick or someone. I don't know what that move would have been. So Kenny Pickett made a lot of sense for them to go ahead and take a flyer on, because I honestly do believe that Dwayne Haskins was going to be the guy that they were looking at to be like that bridge QB. Mm-hmm. Maybe not the guy, but maybe just like that bridge and see what they can do, and maybe even still draft Pickett, but learn under Haskins, something like that.
Develop them, yep.
Yeah, something like that made a little sense to me. But I think with such an unfortunate tragedy like that, for this to be the move that they make makes a ton of sense. Why not?
Yeah. Great fucking shout. And thank you for leaving the one pick that I actually wanted to really, really talk about on the board for me. So I considered being like, fuck it, I'm gonna go with the other one just so that I could throw you off. But it's the Jets. The Jets won the draft. In my opinion, out of everyone, the Jets won the draft. I honestly didn't expect Sauce to go that high. Like I was surprised. But at the same time, I really like it. Obviously, he got big shoes to fill. Look it up to Revis. But I love him. I love that moment where he was walking in the wrong direction and then had to like run back. It was fucking hilarious.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. And of course, you can't hate on the Sauce, man. Listen, the drip is temporary. The sauce is forever. So
Sauce is always forever, man. And
yeah, I'm excited about that. And then picking up a fucking hell of a receiver and defensive pieces. They did the damn thing on the draft. It's not often that we have good things to say about New York football teams, but hey,
at
I think
all.
both of them came out great from this draft.
And that lead. Well, hold up. Let me say this though. Sauce, I think is perfect because did you see his chain?
Yep.
He actually has sauce in the chain, in the pendant.
Yep.
I've never heard of something like that before, but I love it. I would love to see him actually demonstrate how he gets sauce in that pendant because that's got to be a project. But the fact that you have your own sauce, and he said he switches it up from time to time. It might be hot sauce, it might be barbecue sauce. He said you never know what's going to be in
Depends
here.
on the vibes. Yeah.
Depends on the vibes, and I would love to see him demonstrate how he gets the sauce into the pendant because that needs to be seen. But of course, my third pick is obviously going to be the other New York team, the Giants. Uh, I think they, I think if I wanted to rank it, I would say Jets first, Giants second.
Mhm.
But I think they killed it because they actually did something that made sense. Like they didn't try to go for the flashy move. You know what I'm saying? They actually they weren't dumb. They went and got some help. You got Kayvon, and then who's the other guy? You went and
Evan
got
Neal.
Evan Neal. Evan Neal. They needed Evan Neal, man.
He's a monster too. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my friends, like he tweeted when they drafted Kayvon, he was like, Kayvon's cool. I really wanted Evan Neal. And I was like, I
I got
understand
time.
why, because you need that offensive help, right? Um, and
No
who
matter
knows
who
this?
it is,
Yeah,
back
like
there, quarterback.
you just need someone there, and this is gonna actually help Saquon Barkley out a lot. So you don't pick up Jones's option, fifth year option. So who knows what they're gonna do with that position? But um, I think this makes sense because you can't have the flashy players actually flash if you don't have anyone blocking for them. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, if no one can stay up, they can't do what they're supposed to do. And
Mhm.
that's for the QB, that's for the receivers, running back. So I think this both moves made sense on both sides of the ball. They need to build inward out. You can't build out in. Like it's like trying to build a house but starting with the roof. Like you can't do that. You got to build from the foundation up. And doing something like this makes sense. Um, I'm not used to the Giants actually making moves that make sense. So I love it. I love it for them. I love it for them. I don't want to hear
Great
anything
show.
else from them going forward
Couple
though.
years for a couple
Yeah, I
years.
don't want to
They're gonna
hear
be
anything.
cold for a couple years,
It's
but
gonna be freezing, but no, summer's coming.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I love that for him though.
yeah, man. There are a lot of good teams, a lot of good moves coming out of this draft.
Yeah.
But it's only right before we get into our NBA analysis, we gotta give our what the fucks because there was a lot of weird ass moves in this draft too. It wasn't just
There
all
were.
sunshines and rainbows, baby. So I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna switch it up on you. Why don't you start for us here? Why don't you start on the shitting on teams for weird ass questionable moves?
What the hell is going on with Green Bay, bro?
Yep.
What the hell was that? Like, and this is before the draft. You get rid of your number one option, and you decide to go and draft Quay Walker. I don't
I
even.
don't hate him either. That's the
I,
shit. I don't hate him. Let me make that clear. I don't hate him, but
but what the
it's not what
hell?
y'all needed.
That's not what you needed. Like every team. I think this is what this spells out. Honestly, I overall I thought that this first round was probably the best first round that I can remember. Um, because it seemed like teams were actually there were players falling that were mocked to be in the top 10, right? That were falling. And that's because teams were actually picking for their needs and not for the flash.
Mhm.
And it wasn't like just a couple of teams. It seemed like the majority of teams were actually doing that. I don't think Green Bay got the memo though. So it's very questionable. You go out and get Quay Walker. Um, that's what Aaron Rodgers needed, right? That's what he needed. I, hey, good for them.
They keep the man happy.
Yeah. Good for them. I think they made the decision that's going to work for them. Hopefully, it does. I don't think it will. They're going to be in purgatory for a very long time. Because I think they could have probably figured out something to trade up. Because if the Lions could trade up to get Jameson Williams, why couldn't you do that?
Yep, it's a great shout.
You see what I'm saying?
And a much bigger need. A much bigger need.
It would have made more sense for them to go and do something like that, or figure something else out. Because I know Aaron Rodgers came out. I want to say it was after the first round. Maybe it was right. Maybe it was before the draft. I'm not sure. But that time frame, he said that signing back was predicated on him having. I'm blanking on names like crazy. It's been a long ass day. What was the receiver that left him? Went to the Raiders.
Oh, Devante Adams.
He knew
he was leaving though. He knew he was leaving.
He said that his reason for signing is because he thought Devante was going to be there. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. I personally don't care. But if let's say that was the reason he signed back, right? Why wouldn't you wait until Devante is signed?
Yep, 100%.
You're not rushing. You don't have to rush. And if you're in such a great peril as you want people to believe, why wouldn't you just wait? Lamar Jackson's been waiting.
Yep. Patiently, I might add.
Very patiently. And he has no agent. He is representing himself. So why is it that I respect it too? He saves money for sure doing that. Goes to show how much he'll actually make with this deal, but that's still yet to be seen. But it makes sense to hold out and wait to see what the team is going to do in the draft, and then come to the table to either negotiate or sign. And he had the opportunity to do that. So I really don't want to hear Aaron Rodgers at all this year complain about anything.
For real.
I don't want to hear anything. You had the opportunity to leave. He could have. Think about how it would have looked if he had gone to Seattle, for example, with Russell Wilson going out the door. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, perfect window to hop right in there.
Yeah. It would have made more sense because you've seen a couple of teams that need a QB, and he would have been free and wide open.
Yeah.
Tom Brady was retired for 2 days, and maybe during that time period, you could have gone and talked to Tampa Bay, like you said, this other options for you. Obviously, New Orleans is they're working with Jameis, but pretty sure they would have moved on from him to get Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? There's something that other teams could have done that would have been a better fit for him. So I don't want to hear him complain about anything. Quay Walker, I have nothing but respect for the guy, but that made no sense for the team.
Yeah.
Sorry for the long soliloquy, but
no, I love it. You gotta set it up the right way, and you did that. So I'm gonna make this very clear because I ain't shit talking the player. I think the player is gonna be very good. I actually was hoping that he would fall to us.
Okay.
But when you consider where the fuck he landed, it's a head scratcher, man. Derrick Stingley Jr. I love the talent. I love the talent, man.
Yeah.
But there's just bigger issues going on in Texas than your cornerback. I feel like that's the piece that contenders go for. That's that's really not a rebuilding team move. So I found that very strange, going up and making that big move. And I mean, there were still other guys. You could have honestly went up and got somebody like Evan Neal. You could have got someone to actually fix problems that you have that are bigger than the cornerback need. It could obviously be pie in my face if he ends up being a top player that comes out of this draft class, of course. But at the same time, I feel like that's way harder to bank on in today's league. Bro. With DBs in general. We see the way the safeties were falling.
Yeah.
It's just such a hard position to consider reliable as far as a game changer in the NFL. So just a weird move. Just felt fucking strange. Like I think he probably would have fell to around 10 if they didn't pick him. So the fact that they moved up that high for like you could have traded down and got some pieces and still got him. So yeah, strange pick there, but that's not even my worst. I'm gonna go with my worst. This is my what the fuck moment of the NFL draft. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
What the fuck is going on with the New England Patriots?
I knew you were
Did you hear about it?
I knew you were gonna go.
You hear about it? I just gotta say, shit is strange, bro. That's all it is. The shit is strange. This is someone that was being mocked around the 3rd round. And we know how that organization specifically is looked at as sort of the golden child of draft pick moves. So it's just like unexplainable shit. Like there was other guys on the board still. I would argue get a fucking center. Like for that there was still centers on the board. Like it was just so weird, strange ass move from the Patriots, and they have dire needs. Like honestly, if they would have went wide receiver even in that spot, that would have been a better pick with who was left. Not even like to move up. That would have been a better pick at that point in the draft than the pick that they made, because you could have got that same value somewhere else later on. Weird pick.
They were able to pick at 21 and trade it back.
Yep.
Like and they actually, for who the Chiefs got, Trent McDuffie, New England could have used Trent McDuffie.
Yep.
It's weird all over the board, because this doesn't feel like New England-esque. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
You see them making common sense moves, even if it's not a sexy pick, but it's a common sense move.
Yeah.
That
dude, we're seeing the New York teams do good things, and we're seeing the teams that we're expected to do well do weird shit.
Bro,
it's 2022, baby.
Ever since the pandemic hit, it's just been weird things happening, man. So yeah, New York's making sense and New England isn't. That is weird.
Very weird.
That is weird.
But hey, it makes for fun content for you and I will say that.
For sure. Oh yeah.
But man, I love this draft. Like you said, I feel like it's very rare for a draft to be so uncertain going into to draft day.
Yeah.
Like just the fact that the first pick was a shocker like that is so rare. So it was exciting to watch live. Next year, I'm doing the Bleacher Report show too, though, because I didn't watch it. I watched the highlights after, and I was like, this is so much better. To see the way they did it, and obviously get the updated picks as they're coming in. I'm doing that next year for sure.
Shoot, we might be doing our own, bro.
Ooh, I like that. Hell yeah!
No, I love Bleacher Report, but we might be doing our own thing, man. We might be doing our own thing, because all we gotta do is just I'll
refresh that Twitter page, baby. Yes,
sir. I tell you.
Perfect. We'll leave it at that. Tune in, put it on your calendars for next season. But we got big fish to fry, baby. It's round 2 of the NBA playoffs.
Yes, sir.
I think it's only right we started with the homer the entire day today. It's only right we start with your series. Now I'm gonna be honest. This is gonna sound like some hater shit.
I'm just
gonna say off rip. This is gonna sound like some hater shit.
Go ahead.
But no win in that second round made me smile more than Milwaukee coming out and getting that first win in Boston. And it wasn't even because I'm rooting for Milwaukee. It was just because I pictured you watching the game and like having not like a meltdown, but like thinking about like the stuff we talked about on the show, and then being like, oh fuck, like we got a series on our hands. So I've been waiting to smile, to grin at you all fucking playoffs. Let's just say that. And I was entirely wrong about the Nets. So it feels good to see a little bit of turmoil in Boston, but you guys bounced back strong in game 2. That was really awesome to watch, man. Jaylen Brown went crazy. You love to see it. But please, I want to hear your thoughts on how that series is going and what you expect going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that we saw with game 1 is, I'm not going to put too much on it, but I think Celtics are off 6 days. Milwaukee had just finished a series. They're a little fresher in terms of being game ready. So I think what we saw was a little bit of rust, but not just that. It was just they were. I'm completely honest about my team, right?
Yep.
Any team. They were making the dumbest mistakes. I'm talking about like preseason mistakes. It looked like the first half of the season where the Celtics were just like stagnant in the offense and then just kind of like, being loose with the ball and, just very weird. So I knew we weren't going to win the game when I started seeing that in the first half. I knew it was very possible we could win it still. But with the way things just seemed to be going, it just, I kind of felt like it was already kind of like not like we weren't going to make it. So cool. But of course, like you said, the way they responded, I knew that was going to end up happening because we have not seen a game where they have not responded after a loss. And I think what you saw defensively, because I think you and I talked about it before, and I told you Al Horford, Grant Williams are going to be those two guys that were definitely going to be on Giannis, and that's what ended up happening is that those two stayed on Giannis. Now, in my opinion, I think, of course, with Marcus Smart coming back in game 3, I think we're going to see more of that, just the addition of Marcus on Giannis. I think we're going to see a little bit of that. But I think when they did not double Giannis and they just put those two like primary defenders on him, that changed the whole game. The whole game plan that Milwaukee had, because they were thinking that's all we were going to do is just double Giannis. Nope.
We can stop 1-on-1 too. I just wanted to say real quick, that game 1 though, he cooked Al Horford. That game 1, he cooked him in that game 1.
It was also because like there was no help. Yep. It was weird. Like there was no, they weren't communicating, and I think that's part of what I'm talking about. It was just kind of just a little bit rusty, and then they're just making dumb mistakes that weren't that didn't seem to be their identity. So yeah. But game 2, I'm telling you right now, you're not going to see that anymore. You're not going to see that. When we saw game 1, we're not going to see that anymore. Now, game 2, there were still issues because in the second half, there was like, I don't know what happened, but they stopped doing what they were doing in the first half, which was shooting from mid-range.
Yep.
Like, we don't need a drive to the basket every single time. But you do need a drive to collapse and be able to kick out. But they were relying on kicking out way too much and ignoring you're right at the rim.
Take it. Yeah, exactly. Take it.
Just go up. So I think we're going to see those two adjustments where they're going to do more of going into the paint and actually completing the play, or they're going to shoot more from mid-range. Now, they're going to still shoot from the perimeter, but I think we're going to see a little bit more of what we saw game 2, just expounded.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Yeah. And I'm interested to see the post game of Giannis. I think even though he's been very adamant at getting to those spots, he hasn't had as much success as you would think in those spots. So go ahead.
Can we talk about that real quick? Because while I understand Giannis is this freak, right? He is charging
all the time.
The refs, and I tweeted this out after the game, but the NBA needs to punish refs for blatantly ignoring calls. I think there's moments where if you don't see something, that's one thing, but if you blatantly ignore, you're literally right there. We can see your eyeballs are looking at him. It's not a secret. You're just ignoring the call. Giannis should have fouled out game 2. Do you know how many?
Hot take.
Think it was like 3 offensive charges off rip that I remember that he did not get called for. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. He should have been fouled out. So that's what I'm saying. Like the league, I think, and we discussed this before in terms of like the way different things are going to be called. It's the playoffs, it is what it is. But when you're just ignoring calls, Scott Foster is one of the, I hate seeing his name on any game.
I agree.
Scott Foster, Tony Brothers, those are 2 guys I never want to see. I mean, I don't have any personal gripe with them, But when you're like when
I do. I got a problem with that motherfucker. Fuck Scott Foster. But
I'm
anyway.
just saying, like when you, like on a personal level, I don't know him, but on a professional level, when you can see everybody is legitimately calling out, like you don't make calls.
Mm-hmm.
You ignore specific calls, and this goes the other way too. Like, there was calls against that should have been called against Boston that were not called. You know what I'm saying? So it goes both ways. I don't know what these refs are calling and what they're seeing, and then they calling stuff that's not a foul.
Not
remember
at all.
Game 1?
It's like making
Jason
up,
Tatum
overcompensating. Yep.
Yes. Tatum fouls out for an offensive foul where he was the one that was actually grabbed and pulled back.
Yep. Overcorrecting the steering wheel, dude.
Really? Yeah, come on. That's the thing. I hate seeing that in any series. I don't even care if it's just against my team. It's any series. I don't like seeing that because it takes away too much from the game. I don't like when we have to review calls every 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That goes against what the protocol was to be able to bypass that. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So they need to clean their stuff up. But yeah, I'm expecting some good stuff. Game 3, man. I'm excited. It's not till Saturday. You know, Jalen's going to get some time to rest. Marcus will get some time to rest. Robert Williams, I'm pretty sure, was still hurting from that ball shot from Game 1. So I think, you know, because man, that was a hard shot. There. Yeah, that was a hard shot. But hey, you know, I think they'll get some rest. Game 3, we'll see what happens. But I think this is gonna be a long series.
So this is a hot take. Nice. I was about to ask you that, but this is a hot take for me. I personally don't give a fuck about the mischarge calls. You know why? And I'm sure you're not going to agree with me on this at all because your team is known for doing this. I fucking hate charges, period. Like, I think it's a stupid thing. I think it's a stupid thing because and this is something that your team does a lot. So I'm shading a little bit, but there's nothing I hate more when people are guarding in the post and then they just decide, that's the one. That's the one that's gonna kill me. Now I'm just gonna drop to the floor like I got fucking shot. It doesn't make sense to me, and I don't like it. So I'm glad when those things don't get called, especially in a playoff scenario. But I agree with you. I think regular season, a lot of those get called. But I feel like overall, though, the officiating for the playoffs has been very good. Like they've been letting people play. Yeah. And there hasn't been a lot of egregious calls, but there's always going to be some stuff you could point to.
Yeah, no, but I agree with your point though, that the charges, I think this goes with just beyond charges though. It's fouls in general, because you see a lot of players that go into the paint that might feel a little touch or something like that, but they're screaming. They're either selling it as a hard foul or they're screaming like, "Yo, like, why didn't you call that?" Mm-hmm. Now when you missed a layup or you missed a dunk or whatever, because you're not trying to actually complete the play, you're trying to just draw the foul. Now you're missed out on your defensive assignment because everybody's in transition. You're
on the floor. You're on the floor acting like you're dead.
Yeah, like that. I don't like seeing that. I don't care what team we're talking about. I don't like seeing that. It's annoying. It's annoying. So I agree with you on that actually, but the Celtics do a great job of
drawing charges.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
Do an amazing job with it. Marcus Smart, Derrick White, those are two menaces, and that's why I think is going to be a very interesting thing, because you saw Brook Lopez get into foul trouble real fast. Giannis got into close to foul trouble. Mm-hmm. So I think that, you know, that for my team, I enjoyed seeing that, but as a basketball fan, when you have to continue to stop the game, mm-hmm. whether the ref stopped the game or the star player is pissed because he didn't get a call. Like, I know you're mad you didn't get a call, but talk about that when the game stops, right? At a dead play, that's when you go talk to the ref about, hey, missed call or whatnot. But to be arguing with the ref when you're supposed to be hustling back up court. That's why I love Shai Gilgeous. That's why I love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man. That's one of the biggest reasons. He's a baller, but that's one of the minute things about him that I absolutely love. He doesn't complain to the refs
at all. Yeah,
because he
probably when he should, he doesn't.
He should. Yeah, he's just like, I'll go back and get it. And I love that about him, because he's just focused on that. go get back on defense. And that's what I can appreciate about him. So I think I want to see more players adapt that. Because as much as I love him, Jason Tatum is one of the he actually annoys me with that so much. I'm literally yelling at the TV. Shut the hell up. Get back on your side. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Over.
It's not over. Like, the ball is not out of bounds. They're not gonna call it. You know they're not gonna call it. Like, it's egregious. I get it, but it's
move on.
It's Tatum. It's Luka. I've seen Morant do it. LeBron is the biggest.
Morant's a big one. Morant's a big one too.
Yeah, but LeBron is the biggest of them all. Like,
you know who's one that doesn't though? Steph Curry.
Steph is another one. Yeah, he is another one. Because there's been times like even with in this series against Memphis where he's getting pounded in the paint.
Yep.
He's getting hurt and
still finishing.
Finishes the play. Just finish the play.
Mm-hmm.
You got to continue. You can't just stop. You can't stop. And that's
before we move on to this series though, because you got the perfect segue for me, man. I'm not done. I got a question for you, bro. So I gotta ask you, coming out of Milwaukee now. Imagine the 2 games are over. What do you say the score is coming back into Boston?
2-2 at worst.
Yeah, for sure.
2-2 at worst, but I think at best Boston can get both. I do believe they could get both. Will they get both? I don't believe so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
They could, but yeah,
they could, but I don't think they're going to because of the fact that this is Giannis. This is defending champs.
At home, all that.
They're at home, so I think they're going to split for sure.
Brook Lopez has been making a case, bro.
Making a case for what? For what?
He trying to get paid next season.
Oh, okay.
He was struggling. He was struggling during the regular season, but he's been balling during the playoffs for sure.
Yeah. Oh no, you need to pay him for sure. You need to pay him for sure. Yeah, but no, he's actually been playing a lot better than I expected him to play.
Yep, 100%.
That was one of the reasons why I said beforehand I thought that this could actually be 5, but I'm put it at 6. I could see it going 5. Was because Middleton is out and Lopez is still coming. It's still that's back surgery. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not expecting huge things from you.
For sure.
But for him to play the way he's been playing, I have nothing but respect for him. Nothing but respect for him. So yeah, I expect it to be 2-2 going back to Boston.
For sure. There's 2 things you don't fuck with, and it's the back and the neck, brother.
Oh yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
Oh yeah.
But since we already started getting into it, man, I just gotta say this is the funnest series, right? This is the funnest fucking series that's here.
Yeah.
Warriors versus the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, man.
Ja.
I feel like no. We'll get to that. But I was gonna say I don't know what it is. I just feel like whenever I watch the Grizzlies play, they play like a much worse team than they are until it matters, and then they pull it very close towards the end. Yeah. And it's frustrating to watch as a basketball fan because you want to see that sort of upper bound limit versus upper bound limit.
Yeah.
But the Warriors have been executing amazingly. Coming into that 4th quarter, dude, I honestly thought it was 100% Warriors was going to be up 2-0. And then, dude, the way that played out, I mean, if you go back home 2-0, like the series is pretty much wrapped. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
And the way that Ja Morant just took over in that 4th quarter, I was watching it, and honestly, you got to give it up. Like that's the best performance we've had in this whole playoffs out of anyone. Not only just taking over the game, but taking over the game when it mattered, and everyone else was letting you down. For you to, what was it? A step back, multiple driving floaters and layups, and
he did one spin in the post. I think it was on Draymond, and if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it was Clay. Driving in, and then did this pivot, did this spin, and just wrapped around and tossed it up. Score. Ja is on another level, bro. He's on another level.
The easy comparison was always D Rose. This is different. Like this is not even. It's not even that level.
It's a mix between D Rose and Iverson to me.
That's a good shout.
Because he's doing things that doesn't even make sense. Like it doesn't make sense. And I actually think the Grizzlies would be 2-0 if they didn't do a lot of bonehead moves game one.
I agree.
One issue is Jaren Jackson getting into foul trouble so fast and easy. He can like to me, he could dominate this series because they don't have that size at all on Golden State. Dude. He should be taking over, like almost like DeAndre Ayton does. You know what I'm saying? Like that he should be able to move like that. But the problem is he gets into foul trouble way too fast. And I think he fouled out with like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter or something like that.
Yep.
Like that was a lot of time.
They needed those minutes. They needed those minutes for sure.
Yeah. So
this series
on another level, bro.
This series is so fun to watch, man, because we still haven't had. I mean, he's scoring almost 30 every game, but we still haven't had that Curry moment yet. And we're gonna be in chase, so that's coming real soon. So I'm super excited to see that. And Clay struggled game 2. So I think that's something to watch out for too. Poole's been balling. I love watching Poole play in general. I think what they got going on is special, man. When you got an 8-man rotation and you're not even playing Moody, like that's a scenario weird? We talked about too. Yeah. I don't think it's weird though. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Let me say wild.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it.
Wild.
Because I feel like you want to get him some minutes for his sake. But maybe it's something we don't know, and there's a little bit more development needed there. But I'm excited about this Warriors team in general, even beyond this season. Both of these teams, you could really say that. But I just feel like in the first series and now in this second series, you're just really seeing the inexperience really show in a lot of different areas for this Grizzlies team. Because I feel like you said, I don't think they would have won game 1, even if he would have not had those issues. Just because there were so many other issues too.
I'm saying there was just bonehead moves from a lot of players in game 1 that if they had just cleaned up maybe 50% of that, they would have won.
Some of it was on Ja too. Like he sucked a little early.
For sure. But if they just cleaned that up in game 1, they would have won that for sure. They only lost by 1 point, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they lost because he couldn't complete a floater that he usually
showed that he could do in the very next game. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So it's weird.
Random anecdote. My the headquarters of my job is in Memphis. So we were doing the business update and everyone was talking about how they were there in the game. And I'm like, fuck, man, I'm jealous. I wish I could be at an NBA playoff game here in New York. But I ain't going no goddamn Nets game. Fuck that.
Nah. It's to watch them lose, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just to watch them lose. I can't wait though. Next season, I will be going to an OKC game for sure, whether it's in the Garden or in Barclays. It's only right.
Yeah. Let me ask you something real quick. What did you think about that Dylan Brooks foul?
It's a good question. I thought it looks more egregious on the replay than it does in real time. I think it wasn't on purpose. But it's not a basketball play, so I get why everyone's upset. And the way he was injured, of course, it just amplifies that. I think he gives them big minutes every time. So missing out on him in the series is huge. So it makes sense that he got the suspension. But when you really look at the play, I've seen a lot of similar plays in other games. Some that probably didn't even get called. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a weird scenario, but I like that. The proper consequences come, especially when you're hitting someone right on the fucking head. Like, you gotta make that right.
But it was unnecessary though. It was unnecessary. He wasn't.
But it wasn't intentional.
It was. I don't think it was intentional. It was unnecessary though, because he wasn't going to get the ball. He was too slow to actually make that block.
I respect him for trying. I
respect it. But when the guys are in midair, like there's no need for all that. There's no need for all that. I think it kind of reminded me of what happened with Gordon Hayward because of the fact that it was against Jay Crowder. Like it was Jay Crowder's fault that Hayward went down like that because he grabbed Hayward midair. Like I don't understand why there are some players that seem to neglect, and I understand it's in the heat of the moment, stuff like that. But I would think that would be the first thing you think about when someone's midair. Like it just because at worst, like I'm sorry, at best he was just going to foul him, like just a regular foul. He wasn't going to be able to block that dunk. You see what I'm saying? Like there was no way he could have blocked it. So at best he would have just gotten a normal, regular foul, sent him to the line, whatever. But it was unnecessary. That's my point.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that.
Unnecessary.
I just feel like when it comes to those things, especially in the heat of the moment, that's why I said like the replay looks way worse than the actual play. Because I get why he's still trying. Like even like I feel like it's easy to make that statement because of the outcome. If he didn't get injured, I feel like this play wouldn't have been as scrutinized for sure.
It wouldn't have been as scrutinized, but like watching it live, I was just like even live, I'm like, you're not going to get him. Like the way Gary Payton moves, like when you're beat that fast, Ja only got like, I think he hit him on the left elbow or something like that, kind of put him off balance a little bit, which that should have been called a foul right there. But that's another thing that they missed that as a call. But he still went through that contact and went up. He's already up. You're not gonna be able to block that. Let it go. You missed that basket. You live to play another round, another play. So that was my only thing. That was my only thing.
I feel that. I won't call it dirty, but it's
the
questionable.
Move is dirty.
It's questionable.
No, the move is dirty though.
Like, I don't think so.
Because there was no, like, you had no ball. Like all you had was head, and it was your arm that hit. Like you had no opportunity to actually hit the ball. Now, in the case of like Draymond Green, I didn't think that was dirty. But I thought that I could understand why he swiped down before he grabbed the jersey when he hit his face, when he Clark's face. He was going toward the ball. He had the opportunity to actually get the ball, but his arm was longer. His reach hit further than the ball. So that was my question. Like, why'd you go that far out with it?
Far, exactly. Yeah.
But he still went for the ball. Like he had the opportunity. That makes sense. Brooks wasn't gonna catch him. Like he was already.
I respect the effort. I respect the
effort too. I respect the effort too.
I get what you mean though, for sure.
But like he could have been hurt.
100%. Yeah.
He could have been hurt too.
When I think of dirty plays, I think of that Grayson Allen Caruso play. Because it's just that's egregious. Like that's another level.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like this was unnecessary. That was definitely egregious. That I think in terms of talking about dirty plays, I think there's levels to it. We've talked about different levels for other stuff as well, right? But I think there are levels for this. There's an unnecessary level, and there's an egregious level. And Grayson Allen, I agree with you. That was definitely egregious. This was just unnecessary. It's still a dirty play because you had there's no opportunity for you. He knows there's no opportunity to catch the ball, right?
So then my question to you is, this is another separate tangent. Was the Draymond foul that led to the flagrant 2, was that a sort of unnecessary play?
It was unnecessary, yeah. That was unnecessary.
I still don't think so. I think that was more about his reputation. And maybe this is just me leaning into, hey, it's playoff basketball. I will admit I do that. I tend to feel that way. Hey, I'm from the Bronx. My shot was cold, bro. I was okay from mid-range. I'm hacking, bro. That's what I'm here to do. You know what I'm saying? So I look at things a little bit differently. I feel like that was more of a reputation call than anything. But I agree. It was more than normal fouls are. So I understand.
It was unnecessary, but I didn't think it called for him to be ejected. I'll put it like that. I think that the slap on the face, because you can actually see him going forward the ball. Exactly, he just like miscalculated the range,
the distance.
And accidentally hit his face. That's an accident to me, right? Now, with Clark going up, the second swipe, and he's still coming down himself. He hit his jersey. His arm got caught. I don't think he yanked him. I think his hand just got caught, and because he immediately went to catch him. That's what Drake, like, as much of a reputation as Draymond has for the unnecessary.
Extracurriculars.
Yeah, like that flagrancy in terms of the kick and stuff like that. Like as much as he has a reputation for that, his reputation is also to help the opponent. Like when they're in those weird, awkward scenarios to where they could actually hurt themselves falling down. We've seen it multiple times. You know, he caught Klay Thompson when he went off of, I think,
That's
Thompson's.
his teammate though.
No. Yeah, that was his teammate. But he got it when against Cleveland. Who's Chloe's baby dad? I'm blanking all these names, bro. This is ridiculous.
Tristan Thompson.
Tristan Thompson. Thank you.
I mean, he's been irrelevant, so that's why it's hard. I don't blame.
Yeah. But like, I think he bounced off of him and caught him midair.
Yep.
I think he caught Plumlee before. He Mason Plumlee again. I think going against Charlotte or someone. He caught him. Like he caught Clark. He did catch Clark. He didn't. You know, it didn't go all the way, but he caught Morant earlier in the year. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's obviously times where you've seen him do that. So his intent is not to hurt. His intent is to play hard. That's what he does. But it wasn't an egregious play. I think it was just unnecessary a little bit. But you know, hey, it wasn't unnecessary in terms of like, come on, bro. It was just unnecessary in terms of like, you know, like you didn't really have to go for that. You know, again, his range was way off from the first swipe. So it's the heat of the game. You know, I didn't think it deserved a flagrant 2. You can call it flagrant 1. You call it flagrant 1 for sure.
For sure.
Move on.
Now, I still think this one goes 6. What are you thinking?
I think it goes 6. I think Gary Payton is a big loss for them. I do think.
So you're going with the Grizzlies?
Hell no, I'm going with Golden State. But because of that,
yeah. Okay.
Because of that, I think this extends out a little bit longer. I wouldn't be surprised though if Memphis does win it, but I'm not choosing them to win this game. I think they win a series because again, there's a lot of moves that they're a lot of unnecessary plays that they're making in terms of not being able to hold onto the ball, and a lot of turnovers, a lot of forced shots, things like that, to where they're playing undisciplined basketball. That's what I was saying about Boston in game 1. It was very undisciplined, unlike them, right? This is undisciplined in terms of inexperience. And I think that you know, this is the first time in the second round with this group. Jaren Jackson's got to be on that court. He's got to figure out a way to stay out of foul trouble. If he can figure that out, which I don't think he will, but if he can figure that out and they can stay on this level of aggression, it wouldn't surprise me if Memphis got out of this series. But I don't expect those things to happen. So I think Golden State will definitely pull this one out for sure.
Yeah. Too much needs to fall in line, and the fact that Steph still hasn't caught fire yet is a big thing. So and it's funny that we're saying that, like, he's not scoring damn near 30 points every game, but still, love to watch that guy play, because even when he's struggling, seemingly, he's just so smooth, dude.
He's doing other things though. The way he plays off ball is the way that I think that who was it that I was talking about before? Trae Young. I think Trae Young needs to actually study Steph more, because the way Steph plays when he's off ball, he's not stopping. He's always moving, always going around, always cutting and making it hard for his defender to be able to catch him to where he can get to his spot, pull up for 3.
Dude, there's times where he doesn't even have a drawn up sort of pick play that he makes his teammates pick for him. Like he forces them to. It's funny.
They're making up the play on the fly, and it's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to watch. But if Trae Young could figure that out and they get him a number 2, an actual like a legitimate number 2, Atlanta will be in a far better place. I'm not gonna say
Hunter might be that dude. I don't know if you saw
DeAndre Hunter. Oh yeah,
might be that dude. It's gonna take a lot more work, but he might be that dude. But anyway,
maybe they need number 2 while he's growing.
I feel that. We need an
Yeah.
immediate
Yeah, he
answer
need immediate
here.
help. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, considering where they ended up, it all makes sense. But it's only right that we move on.
Yes, sir.
These two series, I'm going to start with the one that we got less to talk about. I'm sad. You know why I'm sad. We're
No.
here. If Embiid was here,
Oh
it
yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah.
would be a different story. It would be a different story. But I'm sad, and this is why I'm sad. And then I'll let you bury this team because they deserve it.
Yeah.
Everyone is quick to talk so much shit about Harden. Oh, he's not able to step up when everyone needs him. He has not played terribly. He has not played terribly
Mm-hmm.
relative to the first round, you could even argue.
Mm-hmm.
But this ain't the fucking Jazz against Dallas, bro. Like this is the Heat are a great team. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a tough order for them to ask that of him. And I understand why he's getting the heat because he's the only real answer. Obviously Maxi deserves some of the blame here too, but at the end of the day, man, they're doing whatever they can to try to keep it close, but he's not playing Joel Embiid, that is not playing game 3 either, so
Yeah.
this one might be over early.
Oh yeah, it's over. It's done. Even if Embiid is out there, it's done
Hmm.
because of the fact that he's still fighting through the orbital fracture, right?
Yeah, that's big.
Like that's a hard. And he, let's say he comes back game 4. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be wearing a mask. Those
Yep.
masks are very weird to play with if you don't play with them all the time. Like Rip
Bro,
Hamilton,
that's your
played with it all the
fucking
time, right?
face.
That's your
That's your
face.
face. Like
Yes.
anything. Like people don't appreciate just how fragile you are until you're dealing with those things on a
Mm-hmm.
regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
If you literally anything you do, you're feeling that. Like
Yeah.
any little reverberation,
Yeah.
even things you do with your hand. Like I'm sure if it's that bad of an injury, you could dribble and feel that shit in your
Oh, for
face.
sure.
So yeah.
For sure. And I think aside from that, you talked about Harden, right? I think what a lot of people are forgetting is the rule change that allowed
Yep.
him to be able to get off the way he was getting off in Houston. Um, and even so, to a degree when he was in Brooklyn, like the first, like after the trade, um, he was able to do a lot of the things that he could do coming into this season. You can't get away with a lot of stuff that made him successful. And he's also not been able, he's Shannon Sharp talked about this. I saw a clip again because I don't watch any of these shows. But I saw a clip where he was talking about this. I'm not sure how recent this was, but he was discussing how Harden has not taken care of his body. He's 32 years old, right? But he's not taking care of his body to be able to evolve as a player as he ages. So whereas he was when we saw him at Houston doing different things,
Big time
OKC, Houston,
dunks.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're not seeing that anymore because that's 2 years ago, right?
Them
And
strip clubs took it out of him.
yeah, God forbid he ever came to Atlanta.
Dude, you remember when he was in Philly, they strip clubs were hitting him up like,
Yes,
yo, it's
yes,
time.
yes. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think they retired his jersey in a Houston strip club.
No
Uh,
fucking way. Are you
if I'm
serious?
not mistaken, I think I heard something about his unless that was a joke, but I
His
think
jerseys in the
I do believe
rafters.
someone. I think one club did retire his jersey somewhere.
That is
If
hilarious,
I'm not
bro.
mistaken. But I mean, but you're known for that, right? So cool, but you can't you can't be that type of person and expect LeBron James, Kobe
Longevity.
Bryant type of not only longevity but success. You can't you can't expect that when you're doing this. You're doing things that guys that are on bad teams, like the 15th player on the bench type of player would be able to get away with, and nobody's gonna get mad at, right?
Mhm.
Like that's something that someone that's the 15th man on the bench in Sacramento, like nobody's really gonna be mad at him for doing all that stuff because you're not even playing,
Yeah,
right?
facts.
So I think that's the problem with him. He's still having good games, but he's not having those monster games. And those monster games are what people are expecting from him in terms of scoring. He's doing well as an as like setting up his players and getting those assists. He's doing well in that area, but he's not. Everybody's getting mad at him, but he's shown you this is what he is for the last 2 years.
Yep.
What do we?
What did you expect?
What do you expect? Like, were you not paying attention? You're everybody. See, this is the problem. This is the problem that I have with people that analyze sports in general. They get caught up in the name and don't pay attention to the habits, or don't pay attention to how these guys actually play when it comes against, different types of opponents. That's why, like, I didn't understand why people were saying that, oh, Atlanta had a shot at coming out of that round. No, they didn't. They didn't. Atlanta fans didn't believe they had a shot. Brooklyn didn't have a shot because of their personnel. Like, they had no shot. You've seen them defensively all year long, and people actually thought, oh, this is a finals team. You saw the Lakers for the last year and a half, and oh, this is a finals team. No, they're not. You're paying attention to the big names and not paying attention to the context of what's going on around them, right? That's all that's going on with LeBron James. What's going on with James Harden? People are expecting Houston Harden.
That man's been left. Yes, sir.
He ain't there. And in fact, he stayed in Houston. I think that, one of the biggest things is that strip club was probably fueling him a little bit. You know what? I think that probably was one of the biggest things. Maybe what you need to do is, if you get James Harden, you need to make sure he has one of those power strip clubs next to him. And then, like, say, hey, like, right into the contract, hey, make it as an incentive.
Try to incentivize. Sauce. It's like the
sauce.
Yeah. We need to get some booty juice independent.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, get the lemon pepper wings and all that. So, like, you need, like, incentivize him with the strip clubs by getting to these marks. If you get us to the second round, like we'll make sure, we do this and the other. But if you get to the finals, we'll make
Wells
sure
Fargo's will be a strip club, bro. You don't even gotta leave. We'll bring it to you.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like have partial ownership in a strip club or something. Maybe something like that will incentivize him to, hey, let me hit the gym a little bit more. Let me not go out with little baby tonight. Let me just chill and study and so, like, maybe that will incentivize him. That will incentivize him to do something. Because what we're seeing is what we're seeing. Like, what we're seeing is what we're going to get. This ain't going to change. Like, this ain't going to change. This is it. This is it. I don't think he's cooked. Because I know that's been thrown around a lot, that he's cooked. Yeah. I don't think he's cooked. I think he's aged. Yeah. And I think what we've seen with him is the best we're going to see. You know how
he's on that mellow trajectory, for sure.
At a faster rate.
Yeah, for sure.
At a faster rate. Because you remember how I told you I thought that Ben Simmons already peaked? Like, the best of Ben Simmons.
I don't agree with that, but yes.
But you remember how I told you that? I think that's where we are with Harden.
For sure.
I think
that's not debatable at this point. Yeah, it's not debatable.
Yeah. But Ben Simmons, I think that's the.
I don't even want to get into it because I know you and Shaq covered all of it. I don't even want to touch on it. I just feel bad for the guy, and I hope he comes out on the other side and makes me look good.
I do too, but
it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it is. It
is tough. I hate that this series turned out this way because I had so much hope.
I know.
Let's move on.
I know.
This next series has been surprisingly fun. I'm going to give you this analysis and then I'll let you bite on whether or not you agree or not. Luka's forcing it, man. Luka is forcing it, especially early on in game one.
Yeah.
It was like a 6-shot stretch that I'm just like, dude, like, you don't have to get the first basket, bro. Like, I feel like if anything, they need him to facilitate a little bit more, especially as they go back in Dallas. I would love to see them sort of not even things up, but at least make it more competitive in Dallas. Obviously, there's still been close games, but at the same time, I just feel like he's forcing it a lot and they're keyed in on him. So if you're forcing and they're keyed in on you already, it's a tough spot to be in. Obviously the guys around him also do need to step up. Jalen Brunson's still balling, but took a little bit of a down to earth genuflect there. So there's room for improvement, which is what makes this series exciting. I don't think this is I think this series is far from over. Like, let's be real. I don't think it's
Really?
over.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's over at all. I don't think it's going 7. But I think the best of Dallas still hasn't been seen yet. But at the same time, I think the way that Phoenix has been picking it up, if they're able to keep that up in Dallas, this is a scary team to come up against because they hit their stride when they needed it.
I think at best Dallas gets a split.
Wow.
I think at best, because the way
I'm not
Phoenix
predicting them to get 2, but I'm
I
just
got
saying
you.
it's gonna get
I got you.
closer.
I got you. I don't think. I think there's a lot of things that play with this. You know, how we talked about with Memphis, the experience is a factor with it. But Dallas is going to have to find size for sure on their bench. They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to make a few adjustments. I think that's part
They
reason
have.
why they went.
Sorry to cut you off. They have size, but they don't have players that play long. They have shooters that are big.
That's my point right there. They're not able to play the way that Phoenix is able to play, right? Exactly. Like there's those guys are longer. Like
McGee,
McGee is crazy. JaVale McGee is crazy, and I think that if you're able to go get a player like him or a player like Mikal Bridges, like then I don't know who's out there that's gonna be free in this offseason.
You better call up Bismack Biyombo. You better pull out that address book.
They gotta find something, bro. They gotta find something because I think Dallas they're a young team. They're not gonna go as far as they want to this year. Then they're just not. They're not beating Phoenix. Like that ain't happening. Like this is where they stop. But I think they have a lot of stuff to build off from, and that's going to be one of the things I think they're going to end up having to do is find players with length, because you're not beating Phoenix playing like this at all. And like you said, Luka's been forcing it. You know, I think they do have a game in them where they could pull it out, but I can't see them beating this defense, man. I just can't. That the way that Chris Paul has been playing,
dude's been locked in.
The way he's been,
I love to see it. See it. I don't know why people love to shit on Chris Paul. Like I don't understand it.
I don't get it. I get he says some things that might rub people the wrong way sometimes. Like he knows Alvarado's name.
Yeah.
Says that like that's unnecessary. That's an unnecessary jab, but like I can respect the petty. I can respect it,
especially when he was doing the shit he was to you. So
yeah, I can respect it, but I think people just don't like him for and like I don't know, man. It's a lot of Western fans that don't like Chris Paul, and I think it's because they kept getting beat by him when he was with the Clippers. Like I don't see I really don't see the necessary reason. I know. You know, there was a lot of people that said that, there were some Boston fans that didn't like him at first because they were trying to trade. Boston was trying to trade for Chris Paul, trade Rondo for Chris Paul. But I mean, if you could find a way to upgrade, at certain times, I don't see why that's a problem. I don't hate Chris Paul. I actually love the way he plays. How could you? I love the way he plays. I if you're a basketball fan, like a purist, you have to respect that. You have to respect that. I don't think that there's anything wrong with this. So Western Conference Finals are going to be fun as hell, man. That's going to be a fun matchup. I'm just looking forward to seeing that. I'm looking forward.
No matter who comes out of that Warriors series.
Yeah. That's going to be a fun matchup. So
I love watching Phoenix play, man. They're really good.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought I didn't think they would struggle as much as they did against the Pelicans. So seeing them bounce back big against a Dallas team that overachieved in the first round has been really cool to watch.
But they needed that adversity against New Orleans. They needed that.
I agree.
They needed that. I think that's going to
and we see the results.
Finals. Yeah,
we see the results.
Yeah,
I think Chris Paul specifically benefited a lot from that. But yeah, man. Anything else we got before we get out of here? I think that's it for us here.
I think that's it, man. This is a jam-packed episode. I didn't expect all of this.
Dude, right? Even when we were talking before we got live, I'm like, Oh yeah, this is gonna be a short one. And then
Yeah.
the draft talk, we just got into it.
We always say that too. That's what's hilarious. We always get on here because for everyone that for you guys to kind of like get in on a little bit. We don't really pre-game too much in terms of like what we're gonna actually talk about. We don't really discuss it until we get on here, like before we hit record. And we've said it countless times since Chris came onto the show. We don't have much to talk about today, but hey, let's go ahead and do something. We rip it every single time. Yes, again, sir. We have said this multiple times. I think we are the best sports show. We're just one of the ones that aren't recognized yet. We're not well known yet. Bookmark this. I want everyone to save this clip. The Sideline Guy is going to be one of the top sports shows in due time. I guarantee that's going to happen. And this is not a Charles Barkley guarantee. Those are some those are some
those are shady. Those are shady.
Yeah. This is a guarantee. This is one of those you can book it. You can book it. This is one of those Kobe guarantees. I guarantee it.
You could book it. You could book that we're going to be champs. And you know why? Because we got the champs backing us, baby. Shout out to Champs Underwear. Please make sure you check out all the bios and get those links for your discounted codes to get the best underwear in the fucking world. Sweat be gone. It's all whisked away. Shout out to Champs, man. I can't believe it. Like, I really can't believe it, because not only is it such a great brand, but they want to partner with us. So thank you so much. It's beautiful.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So make sure you support the show and grab some stuff, and you get a little discount too. So what is there not to like?
You help us out in the process. I think that's one thing that a lot of people, I have not done a great job of communicating that. But when you go through the link in our bio, you're gonna make the purchase anyway. You support 2 Black-owned businesses with one purchase.
Look at that. We ain't out here buying shit from Jeff Bezos, baby.
Right.
And not only are you helping us, but you helping yourself. Because I'm telling you, once you get those underwear on you, hey, get them for your lady too. Because they got women's sizes as well. You love to see it. You love
great slides, great shirts. So they Champ #1 Boxers, salute to you guys for doing what you guys do and for partnering with us. And we definitely appreciate that.
For sure. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys too. Thank you for tuning in every week, showing us the love, showing us the support. Once again, my offer still stands, baby. Send me that 5-star review. I'll send you 5 beans off rip. There ain't no question. Just send the Cash App right with the screenshot. But honestly, just wanted to say this, and because I said it on my last show, I think it's important to say it again. Reach out to your favorite content creator. Let them know why you give a fuck. Because trust me, it'll make their day, even if you think it won't. And it's just good to put that karma back out there, because it ain't easy, man. It ain't easy. We come out here, we give it to you every goddamn week. No weeks off. No. Speaking of, in a little bit, I just want to be transparent. In a few, I'm going to be going dark. So there's going to be a couple weeks where you're not going to be seeing me. I'm studying to take the LSAT, baby. We got to move. We got to move. We make moves so I got a test date coming up soon. So you'll be missing out on me in a little bit. But once again, we appreciate all the support, and trust me, we feel it, we see it, and we appreciate you guys.
Most definitely.
So with that,
yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Derrick. It was a fucking blast.
Always,
have a good one, you guys.
Yes,
until next week. I'll catch you guys later.
Most
Peace.
Definitely.